it'll drop in, I'm sure.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome to Heaven's Mopars. What's going on here? Well, this is my truck. I had to put that in my truck, and I had to go take it to a transmission shop. My rebuilt transmission, which is rebuilt. However, when Ted and I tried to put my torque converter in the transmission, it was not going in. And when I mean not, I mean not. Not that it went clunk once and it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't even go, once you got it in here, it just hit the brakes. But what happened was, once it got past the seal, the throat got past the seal, then it hit the bearing, but the bearing was a different diameter. It was this big and I needed one this big, so it would not go in. So we jacked up the bearing that was in there, took it to the transmission place. They said, yeah, we could fix it, but we're 2 months out. And I'm like, I don't have 2 months. But my friend Ted, who took me to the place, he knows the people there. But they said, I'll tell you what, it cost me 150 bucks. They put a new bearing in it and a new, whatever that's called, the ring and seal. And so then it fits now, but they squeezed it in. I took it into them this morning. They said, we'll call you tonight. They did. It only took them who knows how long to fix it, but it works. So now I can put my torque converter in my transmission and carry on. I didn't have to wait 2 months to have it fixed. So thank goodness for contacts, people that know people. So I want to say personally thank you so much, Ted, for referring them to me and being able to, since you knew them, I'm sure they helped squeeze me in, so because of you. So thank you, Ted, thank you. Otherwise my ship would have been sunk. So it's people like you, Ted, that help make the world go round. And I also want to say thank you guys at the transmission place. Thank you guys. Now we can move on with plan B. August 12th. Welcome to Heaven's Mopars. I'm Scott, and I am about to drop a 440 and a 727 in a 70 Duster. I'm getting closer. It's awesome. I am at about 488 subscribers right now, I do believe. About to hit 500, so I'm stoked about that. And the timing is awesome because right as I hit about 500 subscribers, I put my motor in the car. How cool is that? I spent a little more than I wanted to. There's a case of oil over there. Transmission fluid, I should say. And it cost, I drained the oil, the fluid out of my torque converter, because this transmission has been completely rebuilt and I did not want to mix old stuff with new. So here's the, stay there, case of oil. $101 for that booger for 12 quarts. Anyway, I'm gonna put the plug back in the torque converter, put fresh stuff in it. Then I also had to spend another $9 for a new oil pan, transmission pan gasket. Stuff adds up quick. And then I had to pay $150 for them to fix the bearing in there so I could put the torque converter in there. like, ah. Okay, why won't this go in? I'll be back. Oh, there it goes. Let's fill this thing up. How many do you think it'll take? And do you know that some of you do, some of you may not, but a simple little trick to keep from spilling fluid everywhere. Notice the shape of the bottle, how the hole is offset to one side. Instead of pouring it this way, what happens is air gets up in here and then it makes it glug and shoot each time it wants to pour. But if you turn it sideways, just the opposite way, well, if you're pouring over a ledge, you can pour this way, but since I'm pouring to right here, if you turn it this way, it'll just pour right in without getting that gurgle, and that should go straight in your torque converter. You'll have air going inside the torque converter as well. It bubbles, and so I'm slowly pouring it because I don't want it coming up too fast. As you start filling the torque converter a little more, or in between each one or whatever, or at least at the very end, after you're done pouring them in, wiggle it around, and that will help some of the air get out of there so it's not trapped inside. That'll save you a big headache later on. I wanted to go with the 2500 stall converter, but the finances right now just wouldn't let me do it. In time, if I decide to pull it out, I'll just do it down the road. Here's number 4. I can get the cap off. And it's starting to take longer to the bubbles coming out, so I might be getting close. To be honest with you, I have no idea how many quarts will go into the torque converter, but someone told me 6. I don't know how true that is. It seems like a lot. I'm about to find out. When I find out, I'll share it with you. Then how many more go in the transmission? It's crazy to think how many quarts it holds. I was told 12 total in a completely empty 727 torque light transmission. Yeah, this has no fluid in it whatsoever. It's all been rebuilt. I'll put a list of everything in it. So now, this one's maybe about a third of the container I put in here. So I got 3 and about a third. So now I'm gonna rock it back and forth, try to get some bubbles out of it. Now it's heavy, just like a torque converter. The fluid, it's kind of at the neck of the base of the, I forgot what they call that, the shaft, or the technical term for it. To be honest with you, I'm not seeing any bubbles at all. Of course, I might be past the edge so that bubbles can't get through. I do have fluid in the the neck of that, or the shaft or whatever. I think it's good to go. So roughly about 3 of them. I could try putting more in it, but I don't want to get it too full and then spill it everywhere either, which I'm sure I'll probably do now. I'm gonna try putting a little more in just to see, because now I'm curious. If I make a mess, I make a mess. I'm new to all of this stuff. I'm learning as I go, so maybe you can learn with me. If I totally mess up, you'll know what not to do, so I don't mind making a fool out of myself. At least I'm honest. I think I'm gonna stop. I got 1, 2, 3. My line is right here, so almost 3.5 quarts inside the torque converter. Now you know. Now I know. Now we know. And now we know also, don't we, Rusty? Rusty! He's like, this feels good. Keep scratching. Okay, something else. I need to find a dipstick tube and a dipstick. Actually, something I am going to do is take some of this and pour it back into here. Because logically, if I take this and tip it and stand it upright, all of that stuff is just going to pour everywhere. So before I do that and just get it going all over the place, I'm going to pour some of it back. 2 ways to learn. Find out by yourself and learn through experience, or have someone teach you. Or learn from YouTube. Which is learning from someone else. I should be using a funnel right now. But hey, makes for a good video, right? Gives you something to laugh at. Let's see if I can do this. No, it's gonna go everywhere. Not gonna laugh at me. Now, if I were to put that in, all of that would have just went all over the place, I have a feeling. What do you think, Rusty? Do I take more out? If I stand up my torque converter and put it in, what's it gonna do? Of course, if I put it in, it'll leak some out, but if I get it shoved up against the pump, it should stop it, so I'm gonna just put that much in. Filled the quart back up. It's full. Glad I stopped there. Okay, put that on it before I spill it. Now I have little drops to clean up. Good to go. So if you're filling a torque converter from scratch, I think it's safe to say I filled this back up to the pretty much the top. So that's a full quart right there. I think you're safe to put just 3 quarts straight into your torque converter when it's completely empty and go from there. Because if I wouldn't have done that, I think I probably would have made a pretty big mess. So I'm glad I took it back out. And don't be stupid. Just take something, throw that in there. Something to keep dirt and grime. Well, if you drop a bolt or a screw in there.
Yeah.
And so like you should try finding stuff for 62 Valiant.
Yeah.
A lot of catalogs go back to 63, and that's like Rock Auto, yeah. Remember,
Had a little casualty, a little bit of blood, but nothing major. Finally got it. Put up a good fight. This car's been putting up a good fight. But we'll become victorious. We'll have some sweet victory. And I am so thankful I drained half of a quart back out of it, because otherwise it would be everywhere.
That was easy.